You're watching The Blaze. Truth lives here.
All right, this is the Dana Show. I'm Ted Nugent, and Dana thinks she's ready to go full-bluntal nugetty with Uncle Ted. Let's rock, baby!
Let's do it.
Do you feel it?
America! Dana.
You certainly are.
Yes,
Nice to see
it is
you.
such an honor to meet you.
Yeah, back at you. Welcome. What a
Thank
way
you.
to spend a Saturday. How did you all conclude that you deserve this? Because
We're new
This
Texans.
is
We just
special.
moved here, so.
you felt the spirit.
We felt
No matter
it.
where you
We
are,
felt
you feel
it.
And who's this killer?
This is my oldest Liam.
Nice to meet you,
Mr.
What's your
Nugent.
name?
My name's Liam.
Liam? Nice to meet you.
Yeah,
Shake
I
that
heard a
hand.
lot about you.
Yeah, and all the good stuff is true. And this is?
I'm Chris.
Hi, Chris.
Dana's
I
husband.
appreciate you speaking nice and clearly because I can't hear squat. But welcome. I hope you,
Thank you for
are ready to
having
have
us.
fun. If you're not ready to have fun, you're at the wrong place.
We always are. Thanks so much
Cool.
for
My
having
pleasure.
us out.
Absolutely. And we'll document the whole Nugent weekend maneuvers. Is that what we're doing here today?
Yes, yes, sir.
Cool.
we
You tell me
are.
where to go and you start asking questions. I got answers.
Okay, excellent.
So come on in.
Gorgeous land out here.
Yeah, I ordered this after I killed my gift from God. I said, hey, God, could you shine some nice Texas sunshine down on
We were
Dana
beginning
and
to
her
wonder
family?
where it was. All it was ice and cold. Every time you go out and speak anything truth, of course, everybody rains a ton of arrows down upon you.
Well, but more importantly, the 99 percentile of Americans nod their head because my self-evident truth isn't a Ted self-evident
Right.
truth. My evidence isn't a presumption. So
Right.
the vast majority of people, whether I'm walking the streets, I'm at a speaking event, or in the media, or on my Facebook every day, 99% of America, they know that venison is precious and renewable and
Yeah.
perfect, but it's a lunatic fringe. It's an absolute, I'm guessing, maybe they're still experimenting with Timothy Leary's dream. I don't know. Maybe they're still putting LSD on their Cheerios in the morning. But whatever is causing people to hate me for being a conservationist and a hunter, fisher, and
Right.
trapper, that is an indication of a terrible soullessness.
Well, and it's even any time that you speak about the administration or the regulatory abuse or the economic abuse that we see
Target-rich
from this,
environment,
this administration. So this is the headline that what is it? Seattle News. Rocker Ted Nugent calls President Obama a subhuman mongrel. They won't put it in context, actually, of what you said. And you even say in your quote, some would call that inflammatory speech, but you were actually discussing just the fact that this is Acorn community organizing. I mean, you know what you said.
Yeah, I know what I said.
When people say this about you, how do you respond?
Well, first of all, none of my haters would ever dare debate me face to face.
No.
Because they know I'll do the Ted Nugent, Piers Morgan skull boogie.
Where you have the most armed citizens in America,
Yeah.
you have the
Understand.
lowest violent crime rate. Where you have the worst gun control, you have the highest crime rate. Piers, choose one.
In fact, by the way, right here,
Oh, that was nice.
just early this morning, I'm still, I have to take a break here, Dana, if you mind. I'm scraping a little bit of Piers Morgan skull tissue out of my little shards of Piers Morgan's brain matter. In fact, I think this was the last of his brain matter. Anyhow, if you dare debate me with me, and I challenge, I dare you. I dare all you punks. I dare all you media subhuman punks. Debate me. Bring me on your show. Teach me a lesson. Because I'll eat your guts. Because I have no opinions. Now that's wild to some people. But it's not my opinion that I have the right to keep and bear arms.
Right, exactly.
I do.
You
It's
have-
not my opinion that venison is food. It's not my opinion that there are 4 dead Americans
Right.
at our embassy who were not only refused to be provided security after multiple requests, but when security was on the way to save them, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, and the United States of American government punks refused to save their lives. Brian Terry is dead, Eric Holder. Where's the accountability? You gotta be kidding me. So is it inflammatory to identify that there is a monster loose in our government who runs guns to Mexican gangs that caused the death of a Detroit hero? Is it wrong to identify that, or is it wrong to be the guilty party that caused it? Subhuman mongrels. If you don't care about freedom, if you abuse your power in the highest offices of the land, there are no words to adequately describe your depth of evil. And if you've got a problem with that, call 1-800-NUMBNUT and I'll get a chimpanzee to explain it to you.
Are you happy with the Republican response to all of these scandals? You said at the SHOT Show that Republicans could not sell a blanket to a naked man in the snow.
Isn't it a shame? The GOP has lost its scrotum. You know, a lot of people go, boy, that Nugent's got a lot of balls. Let me tell you why. Because they don't have any. I got them all. They need to stand up. They need to reread the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. Maybe the Ten Commandments and the Golden Rule. There's so many examples. The IRS targeting political enemies? Are you kidding me? Refusing to provide security at one of the most dangerous American embassies in the world? I have more security on my belt right now than our government provided our representatives in dangerous places like Benghazi. When a terrorist who communicates with known terrorist organizations yells Allah Akbar as he guns down unarmed, helpless heroes of the military at Fort Hood, and our government calls it workplace violence,
and still hasn't issued combat benefits for those wounded, still refuses to.
And someone's worried about inflammatory speech?
Right.
There are 13 dead heroes. Not only that, but let's backtrack even before the Allah Akbar subhuman mongrel wreaked terror on the greatest heroes in America at Fort Hood. Before it happened, our government decreed, this is insane, because the best trained warriors in the world are denied the right to keep and bear arms on a U.S. military base. And I have a good idea, Dana. All you firemen, you are not allowed to have access to water.
It's a great comparison.
You've got to be kidding me. So there are so many vicious, vile, evil, egregious violations of common sense, self-evident truth, and the American way as perpetrated by our government's highest authorities that Ted Nugent's speech doesn't hold a candle to the violations of office, the violations of oath of office, and the runaway corruption and abuse of power by President Barack Obama, Eric Holder, Hillary Clinton, and all the liberal Democrats who want to turn us into a suburb of Cuba with laws that mirror the worst places in the world.
We'll be right back with the softer side of Ted Nugent.
Yes, indeed. Cat scratch fever are us.
You know, there's a movie you can catch right now that asks a very important question. What if America didn't exist? Are we a force for good or for evil?
Well, Dinesh D'Souza's new movie, America, presents some very compelling facts from both perspectives.
Imagine the unimaginable. What would the world look like if America did not exist?
You know, we had a chance to see this movie and absolutely loved it. It reminds me of Control and Conform. It makes it makes the argument, and then it tells you how to answer the argument with the facts. You're going to love this movie.
It's in theaters nationwide right now. You might learn some things they didn't teach you in school. As a matter of fact, Promise you're going to learn
You
some
will.
things. Go to americathemovie.com or just go to the theater and see it.
Absolutely. And with all that patriotic feel in the area, let's talk about a patriotic company, Overstock.com.
Well, and that is the truth because, well, let's face it, there are a slew of companies online from which you can purchase lots of stuff.
Yeah.
Overstock.com, however, is more than just, a place that sells stuff.
Making
They
a
believe,
difference.
yeah, they really are. They believe, as an American company, that it is their responsibility to support great causes like the Wounded Warrior Project.
I did my second tour in Iraq, and about a week away from coming home, I got hit by a sniper.
In a blink of an eye, everything changed.
The Wounded Warrior Project, they reached out to us as a family, and they never forgot about us.
Since this Wounded Warrior Project came into our lives, it has opened up so many opportunities.
The Wounded Warrior Project was very instrumental in getting me up and moving. I've come leaps and bounds.
We need your help.
The Wounded Warrior Project is making a difference, and Overstock.com is making a difference for them. It's an important work. Be a part of it.
Absolutely. They make it very easy for you to contribute as well. When you're checking out whatever you buy at Overstock, just click on the little button right there and you can donate to the Wounded Warrior Project. Look, their goal is simple. The Wounded Warrior Project seeks to foster the most successful, well-adjusted generation of wounded service members in our nation's history, and Overstock.com wants to help.
And if you are going to Overstock.com, you are supporting us, and they are supporting projects like the Wounded Warrior Project, an all-American company, Overstock.com.
Hello, America, and welcome back to The Dana Show. Now, as you saw at the top of the show, I had the privilege of visiting with my friend Ted Nugent and his wife Shemaine at their Spirit Wild Ranch right here in Texas. The Nugents are, of course, everything you see on television, and a lot of what you don't see, particularly their kindness and their generosity. Now, my son Liam, my oldest son, has a standing invitation to go and hunt with Ted, as he has, without a doubt, passed the Spirit Wild test. You're going to see some of that coming up. Ted is passionate when it comes to children learning about and how to responsibly handle firearms. I agree. I have a friend in Los Angeles who has 2 kids. She doesn't like guns. She swears up one way and down the other that she's never going to get one. But she also doesn't tell her children about them either because she believes that they're somehow better protected not knowing rather than knowing. Education is the antidote to ignorance. I mean, we tell our kids not to take candy from creepy dudes driving windowless vans. We tell our children not to play in traffic. So why do so many moms and dads refuse to teach their children how to avoid danger with firearms by educating them about firearms? Now, I told my friend, look, I'm not telling you to go out and get a gun. I'm just asking you to inoculate your child against danger by using education. Shrouding them in ignorance isn't going to protect them if he and his friends come across a firearm that some block-headed adult irresponsibly left out unsecured. Which brings me to a special that ABC is airing later this evening. Under the guise of caring for children, this Gashly Grum Tinies-esque special, hosted by Diane Sawyer, titled Young Guns, encourages you to snoop on your neighbors and ask whether or not they have guns. In a classic case of a news outlet making the news instead of reporting on it, ABC places guns all around these play areas, and then they record what happens when kids find them. Watch.
Is it possible when your child goes to a friend's home, there's a gun loaded, not locked away? So tempting.
Right there. Are they digging under their bed?
1.7 million American children live in a home with an unlocked and loaded firearm. So, do you really know what's in your neighbor's closet? Have you ever asked?
Is that what you were talking about?
Yeah, and you have 80 million gun owners. You know, the first problem that I see is that ABC producers irresponsibly conclude that we have an epidemic of accidental shootings involving children because these producers placed guns around play areas and children looked at them. The second problem I see is a hysterical report based upon the presupposition that accidental death as a result of improperly used firearms, it's an epidemic. It's not. So for truth, let's actually check some statistics and put this into an unbiased perspective. There exists roughly 90 million gun owners in the United States and about 40 million children under the age of 10. The CDC's National Center for Injury and Prevention Control, via our very good friend John Lott, reports that, for instance, in 2003, 28 children under the age of 10 died from accidental gunshots. In fact, calculating the statistics from the CDC, less than 2% of all firearm deaths in the United States are the result of accidental shootings. The overwhelming majority is from gang and drug violence. It's less than 2%, not even half of that involves children. Children account for less than 1% of all accidental shootings. In fact, according to the CDC and National Safety Council, pools, cars, poison, all of these are exponentially more dangerous, resulting in the deaths of thousands of children a year. In 2010 alone, the CDC reported that 602 children died from drowning, 262 children died in fires. Car accidents claimed the lives of 923 children, all under the age of 10. And according to safehorizon.org, 1,537 children died due to abuse and neglect. Over 53% of the abusers were men. 81% of the time, they are a member of the family or a friend of the family. You know, all of these things, these are real epidemics. So when Diane Sawyer is going, was she going to host a special on that? If the purpose is to save children's lives, the most beneficial question and most obvious one would be to ask your neighbor if they own a pool, or if they own a car, or how they store their household chemicals, if they're wife beaters, if they abuse drugs or alcohol, and if they know of a creepy family member or a friend who is a dude. I mean, if we're going to be afraid of things, let's be afraid of that which actually exists in reality, not some pistol boogeyman born of a gun phobia. Now, this is why those exceptionally rare stories of idiots who don't secure their firearms anger me so greatly. They encourage this phobia of inanimate objects. I don't leave my firearms laying around the house, but for argument's sake, if I did, I've raised my kids with the sense to know not to play with them. They know to tell an adult. And my 12-year-old can handle a firearm better than most of the other adults anyway. I mean, he's like a Carl Grimes clone without the zombies and inability to stay in the house. Another teaser for ABC special, and this one the narrator explains that the kids were subjected to like an hour of gun safety training before they were let loose in a playroom with guns in a toy basket, because that's exactly like regular repeated firearm safety education. You know, the media wants to concoct this outrage by setting up children in unrealistic situations where they handle guns. I mean, because everybody puts their guns, they store them in toy baskets. I mean, of course, it's shocking to see. That's why the media does it. Who leaves guns lying around a playroom like this? This is where I put my guns by the end of the day. That's my other son, Steven. So when I go to secure my piece, his dad's a ginger, I don't know. When I go to secure my piece, I bury it in a basket of toys, of course. Now, the kids are never going to find it there, right? That's why we do it. I was talking about all of this and more with Ted Nugent. We're still at the Spirit Wild Ranch, Uncle Ted's place, and so we've been shooting with him, and he's been also, of course, telling us what he feels, just, you know, kind of, about the Second Amendment.
Yeah, I have some hunches about this freedom thing. I actually think I have freedoms.
One of the things that you've done, though, and you've spoken a lot about this, is youth in shooting, youth and the Second Amendment. This is something you feel really passionately about.
I've dedicated the last 25 years of my life. In fact, it started way before we created the charity, Ted Nugent Camp for Kids, and all the great volunteers and families across the country. We have camps in Nebraska, South Dakota, Iowa, and Colorado every year, where hundreds and hundreds of kids and their families come out to learn about fishing, conservation, the marksmanship, aim small, miss small discipline, both archery and firearms. And so the Ted Nugent Camp for Kids is a charity teaching kids about cause and effect. Right. If you handle that blowtorch carefully, you won't burn yourself. If you handle that steak knife carefully, you won't cut yourself. Right. If you handle this firearm safely, it's all positive, it's all good. So Liam has got your AR-15 here. Yes, why don't you go ahead and chamber around, son? Yep. Because if you teach a kid firearm safety, if you take your kid hunting, you won't have to hunt for your kids. But if you teach them how to properly handle it, then you won't have to worry when they go to a neighbor's place and are exposed to a firearm. Let's put the safe on. Safe is on. Yep. And when you're ready, Liam, you go ahead and aim at one of those 3D metal targets, and you fire away, and I'll catch your brass. And Liam is hot. He's hot, ready to rock, Doc. He's cocked.
You're good.
He's locked. He's ready to rock. Hey! Shoot him again. Thank you. Woo! Nice shot, son.
Look at that. Look at
You're
that.
on my team. You're in charge of security. That's great. good parent. Put it there, son. Nicely done. That's good shooting.
Very good
Way
job.
to go. Nicely
good
done.
job.
Shooting a nice AR-223.
Check the technique. He's make sure he's all safe. See, this is not dangerous. This is what we should be doing, is educating the youth, not teaching them to be terrified of firearms.
And let's celebrate the fact that every weekend in America, millions of families go out and shoot ARs and 22s and shotguns and revolvers and semi-automatics. Every weekend, millions of families do this. The injuries and death and crime, zero. However, in the gun-free zone of Chicago, since we started this, I'm sure a bunch of idiots have been shooting themselves every 15 minutes because it's a gun-free zone.
Yeah. Do you think their parents taught them about
That's
safety
the
and
point.
firearms?
I
No,
salute
not at all.
both of you.
Thank you.
Way to go, man.
Thanks,
Good
Uncle Bud.
parenting. Parenting 101. Aim small, miss small. Yep. You're on my team, son. In charge of Spirit Wild Ranch security, Liam Loesch. Perfect. Nicely done, man.
Thanks.
Quick note, sometimes we wear goggles, and then sometimes when we're over 50 yards out and we're just squeezing off a few rounds because we didn't anticipate having our oldest pull the trigger, sometimes we don't. It is a choice. Ted didn't have any either, so I knew I had to say something about that. Now, he's a very gentle soul, really great guy. The only people actually threatened about from his outspokenness and embrace of the Constitution, of course, are progressives. For instance, last August, Texas Monthly ran this piece entitled "The Life and Death or Life of the Party." Now, this piece suggests that Wendy Davis and San Antonio Mayor Julian Castro and his brother, Congressman Joaquin Castro, are the three that can actually counter the freedom-loving Nugent types of Texas and turn the Lone Star State blue. Someone very familiar with this story joins me right now, political consultant Gina Castaneda. Good afternoon to you, Gina.
Good afternoon.
It is so good to see you again. Last time we saw you, we were in San Antonio together. We were having some really good barbecue, and we were there discussing Obamacare and its effects on Texas. And one of the things that was mentioned at the Democrat, the convention, the DNC this last go-around, was mentioned by none other than Julian Castro, who's the mayor of San Antonio. He's the up-and-coming Democrat star, he and his brother. And not a lot's being said about this. You, above anybody else, Gina, have had your eye on Julian Castro and his brother Joaquin, who's now a congressman. Tell us a little bit about what you've been doing in San Antonio, because you've launched a recall effort against Julian Castro.
Yes, we have. We have launched the recall. He was backing what we call the non-discrimination ordinance, and we really felt that he was going against the grain of San Antonio. When we were at the city council meeting, we had pretty close to a 4-to-1 presence against this non-discrimination ordinance.
And what is in this ordinance? For
This
those who
ordinance is the right for all the GLBT community to go into public places and go to make
like bathrooms
and
you're basically,
restrooms.
it doesn't matter what your sex
is. It doesn't matter what it
whatever.
is. You're going to be able to go into it. You cannot question it.
And you and your husband, you have children, you have grandchildren. You were really concerned about this. You were thinking, well, how would our granddaughters react if a man walked in the women's restroom and they're in there using? I mean, it made you nervous.
It made me nervous. I have a 13-year-old granddaughter who is at the point of, I'm old enough to go to the restroom. I don't need anybody to help me or go with me. And that scares me, because with this new discrimination ordinance coming in San Antonio, they cannot question anyone. So if a gentleman is in there, and I say gentleman very respectfully.
If you question it, you're targeted.
You're
basically,
targeted
for discrimination.
Right.
You're being discriminatory.
They told us there's not going to be, we're going to make sure that it's only not for illegal purposes.
Right. And there are penalties that come along with this, too.
There are penalties to the business owners of $500 a day if you do not go according to this ordinance.
So how is this recall? You're getting a lot of support for this.
We're getting some support, but we're also getting a lot of kicks.
Because they're the stars. They're the upcoming
stars. And how can we go against them? And you're Hispanic and they're Hispanic, and you need to support them. And I say wrong. We have minds of our own. We're going to stand up to our rights.
Right, absolutely. I definitely want to keep an eye on this story. I want to talk to you more about this as well, and I would love to have you back too, because this has been ongoing. This has been going on for quite a while.
Yes.
You're nowhere near being done with this.
No, we're not.
God bless you. I'm so glad that
We're
you're
gonna
out
keep
here in
the fight.
Texas.
We're
Thank
gonna
you.
keep the fight.
You're fighting to keep Texas free.
That's right.
Gina, love you. Folks, we're going to be back with more. Stay with us.
There's only one thing more dangerous than a sow grizzly with 2 cubs at close range. Ted Nugent with more confidence. I go down to Whole Foods or
You go to Whole Foods.
the Starbucks in Mill Valley outside of San Francisco, Manhattan, East Brunswick, New Jersey. It doesn't matter. Los Angeles, wherever I go. Hey, Uncle Ted! You got pierced-nippled freaks and purple-haired geeks. Hey, Uncle Ted! God bless the spirit of the wild. I mean, the ubiquitous positive energy that I experience on a daily, not just the kicker cowboys and the deer hunting guys, tofu warriors. I mean, Chance is my new best friend. And this guy won't get downwind of my bow and arrow.
Yeah, he's a vegetarian.
I can tell he's kind of feeble.
Everybody always says that.
Keep your eye on him. He might fall over any second now. I'm teasing. Chance feels the love. My point is that I have an incredible, positive, wonderful, much cherished connection to people of goodwill and decency. It doesn't matter what their haircut is or what their diet is. I don't care what you eat. I just care if you dedicate yourself to being a productive citizen, that you're a blood brother, that you would help your neighbor. And I got to tell you, Dana, I don't know anybody that wouldn't sacrifice their own safety to help someone in need. I don't care if it's my buddies in damn Yankees, Tommy Shaw or Jack Blades or my band.
Right.
I don't know anybody that wouldn't charge into a fiery building to save a cat. You know what I mean?
It's a good heart.
Well, yeah, I just surround myself. But the people who hate me, I guess they would hate that Marcus Luttrell, clearly a superior human being.
Yes.
That Marcus Luttrell calls me his blood brother, that Marcus Luttrell calls me and seeks advice. He told me verbatim, I look up to you, Ted, as a father figure. Could a critic possibly sway me when I get that kind of support? And here's the definitive. I've been contacted since the 1960s, before there was a Make-A-Wish Foundation, before there was a special hunting outfit that takes terminally ill kids hunting. I would be contacted by kids and parents that their terminally ill son or daughter wants to spend time with Ted Nugent before they die. And it happens every year. I mean, little boys and girls, 5, 6, 7-year-old boys and girls. If a family has vetted me to the degree necessary to determine I'm worthy of spending time with a 6-year-old little boy before he dies, could there possibly be, in your wildest creative imagination, could there possibly be a barometer more indicative than that of whether I'm in the good column or the bad column?
Nothing more.
So I mean, my confidence cup runneth over, because the most powerful determinators have already welcomed me into the positive column.
It doesn't get any more credible than that.
I mean, so Michael Moore is going to claim I'm no good. This guy is still struggling with personal hygiene. I would rather give the nod to a mother and father about to say goodbye to little Macon Lynn. 6-year-old boy who, before he died, wanted to come out here and go hunting with Ted Nugent.
Gosh.
So how could Michael Moore or Jan Wenner?
You don't need their approval.
Are you kidding me? It's almost like the devil doesn't like you, but Michael the Archangel wants to go fishing with you. I didn't invent this, but I have a permit, and it looks like that.
There you go. That's all you need.
So I know I side with the best of the best, and which is why you're here today and your family.
Thank you.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate you having
part
us.
of the positive tribe. But just to prove our positiveness decisively, let's shoot and blow up stuff.
Yes!
This is a real assault weapon. This I have to jump through hoops. My dogs have to be fingerprinted before I can get this.
You can't just walk into a store and buy one of these.
No, much to Bill O'Reilly's chagrin, you can't buy these or bazookas at the local Target store. So let me just do a quick display here of what I do when I go shopping for bread and milk.
This is
This-
grocery shopping out here.
is the essence of my ballistic life. Everybody good? Everybody safe? See, the 180 was the follow-up. It was originally in .308, the 7.62 caliber. Mr. Stoner created the original AR platform, and AR stood for Armalite rifle, and which I have one in the house, one of the originals.
Oh, wow.
And it's a great tool. But then they upgraded it to the M16. This is an M16 lower, which I have to have a Class 3 tax license
So you
for.
weren't able to just walk into the Walmart and get that?
No, I tried, but they just wouldn't sell me a machine gun at the local feed store. So this is the .223 caliber. I have now charged it, and I've got
Flip the giggle switch.
safe, semi, and my favorite, full auto.
Right.
But for right now, I'll just show you in semi-auto mode, and I'll let you touch them off. This is a Bushnell tactical optic. When you look through there, you'll see the red.
It's a nice scope.
And so what I'll do is I'll start in that right hand white silhouette. I'll just aim small, miss small. Fire in the hole. I hit them both tight. Now we'll go to the other white silhouette. Now we'll go to the plate, the plate, the plate, the right silhouette. Must be on an angle because here, go to the left. And now, I will now switch to the Ted Nugent mode. And it goes like this.
America.
And of course, that's no fun at all. And if we could ban that, I'm sure crime would have stopped somewhere.
Right, exactly. The fact that you have it, that's why crimes are occurring in Chicago right now.
Yes, right now they're slaughtering each other in Chicago because they can't get one of these.
Exactly.
So we've cleared one magazine. This is a 40-round magazine.
Yep.
So I will insert my second magazine, and I will drop the bolt and return it to safe. And I'm going to reduce this a little bit because you're a petite gal. I'll put it on the Shemaine mode. And you just go ahead and fondle it and grasp it.
Okay.
Kind of stand off center and just get a feel for it and see if we need to reduce this at all. Is that good for you? Can you see that red X in there?
Yeah.
Are you right-handed?
Yes, I am.
Are you right-hand dominant? Look in there again.
Ah, yeah.
See,
Now I see it.
you were going to this eye.
I know. Well, I can shoot pull left-handed, and I can bat left and right.
Okay, now I can
So it
see
makes
that
it-
you're going to want this a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Not only that, but I've been waiting to do this for years. Okay.
There we go.
And when you're ready, just squeeze the trigger on one of those targets. And remember, there's no kick. There's no kick. It's all
Not to
fun.
this one,
Uncle
yeah.
Ted's right here. Just squeeze that trigger when you're ready. Beautiful. Dead. Beautiful.
Oh, I missed that
Hit
one.
one of those silhouettes. Hit one of the human silhouettes.
Do
standing up.
right.
There you go. Beautiful. Yeah, kill him. Thank you. Now switch it back to safe,
Yep.
which would be there. Now, you're safe. Now, I'm going to be behind you because
Okay.
now you're going to switch it all the way to full auto
Okay.
and just squeeze the trigger until you wiggle like a dog.
Okay. So we
It's
are
okay, hub. I got a permit for this. I'm a trained professional.
one. all
There
the
you
way
go.
back.
Now
All right.
you're hot. Now
So
try
we're
to.
hot.
Now this want to grip a little more firm here,
Okay.
but not so
Not
much
so much here. Okay.
And you'll find the cadence, and you'll just counter the cadence
Just
with your
rock
muscle.
with it. Okay.
And if you want to let off, you can. So maybe give it a couple bursts. Brrrt. There you go.
Woo. I think I cleared it.
And you thought she was sexier before she got here. Is
I
that-
love the way that smells.
So Uncle Ted with a machine gun is in the asset column of America. I make the world safer. I literally am the poster boy for good people fighting for our God-given individual rights
That's
as
right.
personified with the author of Wango Tango shooting full auto.
That's right.
I can
bless
hardly
America.
stand myself.
Welcome back. We've got much more with Uncle Ted, but first the headlines, because your life isn't complete without them. The president defined saving the auto industry by literally giving Chrysler to Fiat. Now the formerly American, now Italian car company and Fiat have announced the name of their new unified company. They did it yesterday. It's called simply You're All Screwed. That acronym is going to look epic on an emblem. MSNBC, the struggling cable network whose last hit was mocking Mitt Romney for having an adopted black grandson, tweeted this: "Maybe the right wing will hate it, but everyone else will go, ah." The adorable #Cheerios ad with biracial family. A lot of conservatives have talked about boycotting MSNBC, but if you look at their ratings, it looks like that boycott's been going on for a really long time. In another example of media malpractice, Al Jazeera isn't happy with actress Scarlett Johansson and her relationship with Israeli-based SodaStream. Here, watch the ad with us.
Like most actors, my real job is saving the world. Start with plain water, add bubbles, mix in the perfect flavor. Look, a soda that's better for you and all of us. Less sugar, less bottles.
I can make this message go viral.
You doing it, Scarlett. Yeah, you doing it. Changing the world.
Al Jazeera just has a problem with hot women, apparently. They manufactured this controversy based on 4 tweets to put pressure on Oxfam, a charity that Scarlett Johansson has worked with for 8 years. And this week, the actress announced that she was leaving the charity. Her response was a finger in the air to her haters, which read that she was staying with SodaStream. Team Johansson. Here's another story that I think you're really going to like. The U.S. Postal Service is teaming up with Staples, the office superstore, in an effort to keep themselves relevant. And, Postal Service. This is how all my packages arrive. So basically, Staples is going to sell some Postal Service products in little hubs within Staples stores, staffed by Staples employees. Good idea, right? No, unions are mad. Fire up the inflatable rat! Because big labor is angry, and that's what they do. They get angry and they drag these big inflatable rats everywhere. In fact, I'm pretty sure that union bosses keep the inflatable rat industry afloat. See, union bosses want the Postal Service inside Staples stores to be as amazing and inefficient as the regular Postal Service locations. I'm sure that union bosses want to make the postal centers inside Staples as amazing as Amtrak, the DMV, Social Security, Medicaid. Finally, check out this tweet from lady activist whatever, Alice Walton. She writes, "Women's rights activist Sandra Fluke tells me she's strongly considering a run for Waxman's congressional seat. If you can't afford birth control, how on earth can you afford a congressional campaign?" Now, from radical feminist progressive to wonderful human being, my interview with Ted Nugent's wife, Shemaine Nugent. The lady of the manor, Shemaine Nugent herself, who is, I really think, the pioneer of getting women out there, getting them hunting, getting them out to experience nature. You've really done so much for women. And when we first walked in here, you were explaining to me, you guys had the most amazing predator wall.
I had to correct you because you were telling your sons, that, oh, look at all these animals that Ted got. Au contraire. The zebra that you're stepping on right now, the zebra rug, I got that with a bow and arrow in Africa. That whitetail is mine. The black buck is mine. And yeah, I've been able to bring home the bacon, so to speak.
This is feminism. You are what feminists should be. This is an empowered woman.
You know
right
what?
here.
It really is empowering. And the way that I got into hunting was unlike what most people do. I wasn't raised in a hunting family. My dad didn't hunt, and I was never around guns or rock and roll, but that's another story.
So and you're celebrating 25 years of that.
25 years, I know. I'm waiting for my induction to sainthood. But anyway, yeah, I learned all about the spirit of the wild from Ted, and really through the eye of a video camera. We started filming Ted's hunts way before there were any hunting television shows on TV.
Oh, wow.
We started with PBS about 23 years ago, and I just realized, you know, hunting wasn't about the kill.
Right.
It was about watching sunsets and sunrises and watching a leaf spiral to the forest floor and watching the animals just become erect and aware, and it just, I get goosebumps now just talking about it.
I do too.
That's truly the spirit of the wild. And honestly, I didn't really hunt. Ted taught me to shoot a bow and arrow and taught me to shoot a gun, but I wasn't as into it as he was because, of course, he did enough for everybody. But when Y2K came around, I thought, You know, there were all kinds of conspiracy theories, and I thought, wow, what if something were to happen to my husband? Could I take care of our young son? And that's when I really started hunting. I really thought, okay, if something were to happen to him, I want to be able to provide sustenance for my family. And honestly, that's really the impetus of how I got started into the hunting industry. And really, I think more and more women are becoming involved because it is empowering. And we do think, wow, you know, venison, wild animals not fed up with chemicals and steroids. And
so, I mean, this is truly organic.
This is, you know, when you go to the grocery store and you get grass-fed meat, this is what it is. This is what you see here. So it really is a return to nature, return to primal instincts, and return to family values and providing your own sustenance.
Right, absolutely. Well, the queen of the forest and the lady of the manor, Shemaine Nugent, thank you so much for welcoming us into your home. We so appreciate it.
My pleasure.
We'll be back with more.
Now's when the real story starts.
A news program that's unscripted.
You think that the United States is going to come to their rescue, something happen?
This is the self-licking ice cream cone that is government.
Uncompromising.
Catches on fire.
That comes as no surprise because we've been doing that for decades in multiple countries.
And that actually troubles me even more.
Unapologetic.
You guys really want to go to war over this? We've taken them. We're done.
Real news. Weeknights at 6 p.m. Eastern.
Bam! We just blew your mind.
Only on The Blaze.
You're watching The Blaze. Truth lives here.
Welcome back to the Wild Spirit Ranch. We're here with Uncle Ted, who's been so hospitable to us
such
today.
a sweetheart.
You are. I don't know why anybody would say anything mean about you.
Well, God sent me down here to identify the line drawn in the sand. If you're on my side, you're a sweetheart.
Good, yeah.
If you're on the other side, you're some kind of
Exactly. Well, speaking of some of the haters out there, so one of the things I like to do on my show, because I love to ridicule people who don't like me, because it just makes them angrier,
so easy.
Makes me happier.
Target-rich environment.
So I thought I got a lot of hate mail and people tweeting nasty things.
No, you
to
have
me
to get
on
in my
Twitter.
vapor trail, young
So
lady.
all I did was do a search of your name, and there were a lot of people who loved you, mind you, but there were so many. The majority of them love you.
Much love.
Vast majority. But there are some ignorant people out there, and so I brought a few of them with me because I thought you might like to ridicule these poor, because you know these are men who are cat ladies. They have no dates. They have no concept of leg day at the gym. They don't know how to even lift a gun.
You know, I got to tell you, Dana, here it is, 2014. I'm 65 years old. I've led just this most amazing, fun-filled, adventurous, gratifying, deeply moving life.
Yeah.
I think my happiness pisses some people off.
Well, it did this guy. This is Anthony B., and he's got his little Democrat logo in there. And he says, the only people who like hashtag Ted Nugent are either racist or self-haters.
Well, that's the Saul Alinsky guideline right there. Saul Alinsky is like the Joseph Goebbels, propaganda media czar. And the fact that Hillary Clinton actually mentored under Saul Alinsky, whose book was dedicated to Satan, boy, there's a positive force we can pursue for quality of life. The rules for radicals starts by driving the punks to lie about people. I'm not a racist. My tour, my greatest tour of my life, which is really saying something because I've had such incredible tours. My music is so cool I can hardly stand myself. If I wasn't me, I'd be in the front row watching me.
But your music is inspired by blues
and
artists.
my tour was called Ted Nugent Black Power 2013, paying tribute to the Motown Funk Brothers, Bo Diddley, Chuck Berry, Little Richard, James Brown. Are you kidding me? So all the greatest musical influences. By the way, I've been doing this since about 1965. Is paying tribute to my black heroes. So when they call me a racist, it's because that's all they've got. They've got nothing.
They've obviously never listened to your music. Do you want to read this
or
one?
a word I've said.
From this doucher here.
It is a disgrace that Ted Nugent is American. I hope someone put him out of his miserable, hateful, racist life. Well, my itinerary is at tednugent.com. Come and get me. My schedule is available. Why don't you just come and get even with me as soon as possible? What vendetta or victory, subhuman mongrel. Let me tell you, if you go to my Facebook, I truly and deeply value the positive spirit and energy and the goodwill and the decency that abounds. But I got to tell you, I prefer the hate, because when just mean, ignorant maniacs hate you, it proves you're not mean, ignorant, or a maniac.
Exactly.
By the way, if you're not pissing off the you're an
Yeah, you're one of them then. That's true. This last one here, this made me mad because I like this song. By the way, Stranglehold, I agree with you. It is a love song.
It is a love
song. Lev Tolstoy, who didn't even spell his name right, says, Ted Nugent, you know cat scratch fever is a very damaging disease, which he can't spell right. Promotes retardation in early life. You psycho. That was one of the greatest licks of all time.
Maybe the greatest lick of all time, and who would know better than Dana? My music is so cool. These people, they are so jealous of my rhythm and blues soulfulness that because they don't even understand the grind factor, that I am the son of Chuck Berry, that they get all angry because
and
they
I'm from
can't.
St. Louis, and Chuck Berry's too, so I can say that he is.
God bless you, Chuck. We love you, Chuck. Thank you for everything. So no, the hate is important. It's indicative of the line drawn in the sand. We're on the good side. People that stand with us are on the good side. The haters are on the bad side. As simple as that.
I want to thank Ted and Shemaine Nugent for their generosity and their hospitality. We had such an amazing time at the Spirit Wild Ranch, and my boys really enjoyed it too. So thank you both so much for that. And folks, make sure to check out theblaze.com for some extra clips of us at the ranch, some guitar playing, my air guitar skills, deer sausage, and so much more. We leave you with this. Good night, America.